Hi there, and welcome to my tutorial on how to build this simple but powerful project task list in Microsoft Excel. Now before I get into actually building this template all the way from scratch, let me show you how it works. This template contains two worksheets, and it is designed to help you track and manage your tasks for any number of projects. Let's begin by taking a look at the task worksheet. On this page, you have a simple table where you can list out all of the tasks for any project that you might be working on. Now to add a task to the table, you can start by selecting the project that task belongs to from a drop-down menu in the project column. After that, you can just type in the description of that task. You also have the option to assign a deadline to the task if you want to. And probably the coolest part of this worksheet is that you can mark any task as complete simply by typing a 1 into the complete column. Once you do, the 1 will automatically turn into a check mark, and the rest of the task details will become grayed out as well. Now what's really nice about this table is that you can expand it by dragging the corner of the table down right here. You can do this as many times as you want, making it possible to literally keep track of thousands of tasks if you really wanted to. Plus, you can use the filter buttons at the top of the table to filter your tasks by any of the columns. Let's take a look at the project worksheet now. On this page, you can easily keep track of the progress and status of all your different projects. This graph on the right shows you a total task count for each project, as well as how many items you've completed as well. The table right here shows you that same information just in case you want to view the numbers instead. And it also shows you the percent complete for each project as well. Then right here at the top, you can easily see the total number of tasks, how many have been completed, and your overall percent complete on everything. Also, what's really awesome about this page is that you can add as many projects as you want. Just drag the corner of the table to expand it, and you can type in the name of your new project. The other three columns of the table will calculate automatically, and you can also see the new project name automatically added to the chart on the right. Also, if you keep adding projects, you always have the option to expand the chart to make it easier to see all of the information as well. So, if this seems like a spreadsheet that you would like to build, then stay with me because we will be building this entire template from scratch. However, if you don't want to build it, but you would still like a copy, you can always purchase this template from spreadsheetlife.com using the link in the description below. That being said, let's get into creating this spreadsheet in Microsoft Excel. Starting from a blank workbook, the first thing that we are going to do is resize the rows and columns. We will start by changing the column width of all of the cells to 20. Next, let's resize the rows to 20 as well. Finally, we will adjust the column width of column A and column F to the size of 4. We will also change the row height of row 1 to 35. Let's then reselect all of the cells and change the font size to 12. And we will change the vertical alignment to middle and the horizontal alignment to left. At this point, we won't need the grid lines anymore, so let's go to View and then uncheck where it says Grid Lines. Next, we will reselect all of the cells and then go to Home, click on the down arrow next to the Fill Color button, and select More Colors. Let's click on the Custom tab and then enter in the hex code of hashtag F1F3F4. This will give us a nice light gray color, and now we can click on OK. From here, we will select all of row 1, and then we will apply this dark blue fill color that you see right here. Let's also adjust the font size of row 1 to 18. Make it bold, and change the font color to white as well. At this point, we can go ahead and make a copy of this worksheet. So let's right-click on the Worksheet tab, select Move to End, check Create a Copy, and then click on OK. Nice. Let's go ahead and give this new sheet a name of tasks. Let's focus on this worksheet first. Starting in cell B3, let's type in project, and then task, and then complete, and then deadline. From here, go ahead and select the range B3 through E7, and then go to Insert Table. Check the box next to My Table Has Headers, and then click on OK. The first thing we should do now is give our table a name. So under the Table Design tab in the ribbon, change the name of your table to something like Task. Next, let's get rid of that fill color covering our table. Make sure that the entire table is selected, and then under the Home tab, change the fill color to No Fill. Much better. Let's move on to styling our new table. After selecting any cell in the table, click on the Table Design tab in the ribbon, and in the Table Styles group, click on the down arrow, and then select New Table Style. We can call our style anything we want, so let's call it Custom Style 1. Let's now begin by selecting the whole table element, and then we will click on Format. Under the Border tab, select this gray color right here, and then apply that border around the table by clicking on the Outline button. Next, change the border color to a slightly lighter gray, and then click on the inside borders this time. Finally, click on OK. Next, select the header row element and click on Format. Under the Border tab, select this blue color right here, and then apply that border by clicking on the Outline and Inside Border buttons. Navigate to the Fill tab next, and select the same blue that you used for the borders. Now, let's click on the Font tab, change the style to bold, and also change the color to white. At this point, we can click on OK. The style is now finished, so we can click on OK one more time. To apply our new table style to the table, click on the down arrow in the Table Styles group in the ribbon, and select the style that we just created. To save some time, go ahead and select the entire table, right-click, and select Copy. Jump on over to Sheet 1, select cell B6, right-click, and select Paste. Then, in the Table Design tab, change the name of this table to Project. We can now change cell C6 to say Task Count. We will change cell D6 to say Completed, and we can change cell E6 to say % Complete. Let's also turn off the filter buttons for this table by unchecking this box under the Table Design tab in the ribbon. At this point, let's go ahead and type in some sample project names to make it easier to add other features later on. Once we have the sample names, let's select the cells under the project column and create a range name for these cells using the name box. Let's give this range a name of project list, and then hit enter. Now we want to create the range name to make it easier to build our drop-down lists later on. Speaking of which, let's move back on over to the task worksheet. We will go ahead and add the drop-down list to the cells in the project column for our task table. To do this, select the cells under the project column. Next, go to Data and then Data Validation. Under Allow, select the List option, and for source, type in equals, and then the range name that we just created, which is Project List. Now, when we click on OK, we have a drop-down for all of the cells in the project column. For the task column, let's make this column a little wider to give more space for the task descriptions. So, we select column C and then resize the column width to 50. Next is the complete and deadline columns. Let's center these columns by selecting them, and then we go to the Home tab and change the horizontal alignment to center. For the deadline column, let's go ahead and enter in a date or two like so. And to change the format of these dates, let's select the cells under the deadline column, right-click, and Format Cells. Under the Number tab, select the Date category, Then select the date format that you want to apply, and then click on OK. Now for the complete column. Let's go ahead and select all of the cells in the complete column, and then go to Conditional Formatting and New Rule. In the dialog box that appears, change the format style to Icon Sets. Then check the box next to Show Icon Only. Also, change the icon style to this one right here with the X, exclamation point, and the check mark. Now, under Type, change % to number for both boxes. Then, for the first box under Value, change the 0 to a 1. At this point, you can click on OK. Now whenever a 1 is entered into any cell in the complete column, you get a nice check mark instead. But before we finish up the table, let's go ahead and add in some sample data like you see here. Let's now add in some conditional formatting to gray out all of the completed tasks. To do this, select all of the cells in the task table, not including the headers. Then go to Conditional Formatting and New Rule. Click on Use a Formula to determine which cells to format, and for the formula, type in equals $D4. You always want to write your conditional formatting formula from the perspective of the leftmost cell in your selected range. In this case, that cell is cell B4. So let's take a look at B4 in comparison to D4. The $sign in front of the column letter locks it in place, so this will not change. However, the number part of the reference has no $sign. This means that this part of the reference will be different for each cell within our original selected range. For example, for cell B4, the conditional formatting formula will be equals D4. But for cell C6, the conditional formatting formula will update to equals D6. Notice that the column letter stayed the same due to the $sign, but the row number updated by 2 because cell C6 is 2 rows below cell B4. Now that we have gone over that, let's move on to the rest of the conditional formatting. Once you have entered the formula, go ahead and click on Format. Under the Font tab, change the color to a light gray like this, and then click on OK. You can click on OK again to complete the conditional formatting. The tasks marked as complete are now grayed out. To finish up this worksheet, let's select cell A4 and then go to View, Freeze Panes, Freeze Panes. This will allow us to scroll the task list and keep the table headers visible at all times. For the final touch, you can type task list into cell B1. Awesome. Let's go back to sheet number 1. Let's go ahead and change the name of sheet 1 to Projects. Let's also change the horizontal alignment for columns C, D, and E to center. At this point, let's create the formulas for the task count and the completed columns. Selecting cell C7, enter the formula equals count if task open bracket project close bracket comma open bracket @ symbol project close bracket close parentheses and enter. You will notice that the formula is copied down for each cell in the table, and that is because any formula typed into a cell within an empty table column will automatically propagate down once you hit enter. It just happens to be a nifty feature of Excel tables. Next, let's calculate the number of completed tasks. Selecting cell D7, enter the formula equals count ifs task open bracket project close bracket comma open bracket @ symbol project close bracket comma task open bracket complete close bracket comma 1 close parentheses and enter. You will notice that once again the formula is copied down for all of the cells in this column of the table. Finally, let's calculate the percent complete number for each project. Selecting cell E7, enter the formula, equals, if, open bracket, @ symbol, open bracket, task count, close bracket, equals 0, 0, open bracket, @ symbol, completed, close bracket, division sign, open bracket, @ symbol, open bracket, task count, close bracket, close parentheses, and enter. Once again, the formula is copied down automatically. With the formulas complete, let's adjust the formatting. Start by selecting the cells under the task count and completed columns, then use the ribbon to change the font color to dark blue. Next, select the percent complete column and go to Conditional Formatting and New Rule. Change the format style to Data Bar and check the box next to the Show Bar Only. Under Minimum, change the type to Number and make sure that the value is 0. Under Maximum, change the type to Number and make this value a 1. Under Bar Appearance, change the fill to Gradient Fill and change the color to this dark blue color. Finally, click on OK. The project table is now complete. At this point, let's change the row height of row 4 to 40. Then, starting in cell C3, type in total tasks, completed tasks, and percent complete. Then, in cell C4, enter the formula equals sum, project, open bracket, task count, close bracket, close parentheses, and enter. In cell D4, enter the formula equals sum, project, open bracket, completed, close bracket, close parentheses, and enter. Finally, in cell E4, enter the formula equals if C4 equals 0, 0, D4 divided by C4, close parentheses, and enter. Now let's clean up the formatting. Start by selecting C3 through E3. In the ribbon, change the fill color to dark blue, and change the font color to white, and also bold the text. Next, select the range C4 through E4, and change the font size to 20. Bold the font, change the font color to dark blue, and change the fill color to white. Next, click on the down arrow next to the Borders button and select More Borders. Select this light gray for the border color, and then click on the Outline button. Now change the border color to a slightly lighter gray, and click on the Inside button. Finally, click on OK. Go ahead and select C3 through E3, right-click, and Format Cells. Change the border color to dark blue, and then click on the Outline button, and then OK. To finish this portion, select cell E4 and change the number format to %. And if you want to get rid of the decimals, click this button right here twice. It's now time to build the chart. Go ahead and select the first 3 columns of the project table, including the table headers. Then go to Insert and select the Bar Charts button and select the first option under 2D column. Next, click on the Format tab in the ribbon and go to Align and Snap to Grid. This will make it easier to place the chart where we want it. Go ahead and resize the chart to cover the range G3 through J12. Next, delete the chart title by selecting it and pressing the Delete key on your keyboard. Then, click on the chart and then the plus icon. Click on the arrow next to Legend and select Top. Also, uncheck the box next to Grid Lines. Now, let's select the legend and change the font size to 14 and bold it as well. Then select the vertical axis and change the size to 12. Also select the horizontal axis and change the size of that axis to 12 as well. At this point, right-click on the chart and select Change Chart Type. Select the combo option and change this right here to Clustered Column. Also check the box under Secondary Axis. Then you can click on OK. At this point, select the vertical axis on the right and press the Delete key on your keyboard. From here, right-click on the blue data bar and select Format Data Series. Change the gap width to something like 75%. Then, click on the paint bucket icon, and under Fill, select Solid Fill. And then change the color to this light blue. Now where it says Series Options, click on the down arrow and select Series Completed. Change the fill to Solid Fill, and change the color to this dark blue. Now click on the data bar's icon and change the gap width to 300%. Finally, where it says Series Options, click on the down arrow and select Horizontal Axis. Click on the paint bucket icon and underline select No Line. You can now exit out of the Format Axis panel. To complete the chart, select it and under the Format tab in the ribbon, change the shape outline to this light gray color. The chart is now complete. All that's left is to select cell B1 and type in Projects. You can then go to View, Freeze Panes, Freeze Top Row. Your project task list is now officially complete. You can now take it from here and use it to manage the tasks for any set of projects that you might have. And if instead of using this for projects, you can always change the projects to categories to create a categorized task list instead. This template is flexible and you are welcome to make any personal changes so that it fits your needs. I hope you had a ton of fun building this wonderful template and hopefully learned a thing or two along the way as well. And if you really want to master all of the skills that you saw me use to build this template, you can always sign up for the Excel Total course at spreadsheetlife.com. This course is for anyone who uses Excel and wants to become a true Excel master. For instance, anyone who takes the Excel Total course will have the knowledge, experience, and skills to build something like this from scratch all on their own. Alright, that's enough of that. I really hope you had a blast building this template, and if you want to see more content like this, leave me a comment and be sure to subscribe. Until next time, I will see you in the next Spreadsheet Life video.